We know that Donald Trump, President-elect Donald Trump, says that he's going to deport millions of undocumented people. We know this, yet at the same time we know that under Barack Obama, 3 million undocumented people were deported from the United States. That's much higher than the 2 George Bushes combined. So while we're here to oppose Donald Trump and his racist policies, as we're here to oppose Donald Trump and his misogynist policies, we have to know that this structure of racism doesn't usually look like him. That the structure of racism that we're talking about exists and is carried out by liberal governments, by conservative governments, by progressives, and by radicals and by racists all at the same time. And so we're not just talking about stopping one man, we're talking about stopping an entire ideological system. And that ideological system exists, it breeds, and it is celebrated right here in this country. Here in Canada, in 2014, tens of thousands of migrant workers were deported on April 1st, tens of thousands. And we did not see a mass mobilization. We know that right now the Canadian government indefinitely detains undocumented people. Indefinitely, without charges and without trial, including children. And just earlier last month, they gave them $140 million to build more immigration prisons. And then in the last budget, the Trudeau government, the progressive selfie government, gave half a billion dollars to the Canada Border Services Agency to carry out detentions and deportations. So it isn't about stopping what might happen here, it is about stopping what is happening here. And we know that what Trump has is he has control of the US Army, he has control of CIA, he has control of the FBI, and that means drones. That means murder of racialized people in the South. That means these unjust wars that the United States is waging around the world will continue. The same wars that Obama has fought, the same wars Bill Clinton has fought. And those wars are supported by the Canadian government. This country that we live in today, this country is a mass exporter of weapons. There are weapons that are being exported across the world that are built right here in this province, that are built in Kitchener, that are built in Guelph, and those weapons are used to kill racialized people around the world. This is a war industry. So when we're talking about racism, we have to talk about war, we have to talk about migration, we have to talk about detentions and deportations, and we need to fight back against them. And so, what does that mean? Sakura said, talk to someone next to you, but what are you going to do after that? There are organizations in the city, grassroots organizations of people of color, of indigenous women, of black people that are fighting against this racist apartheid system, that are fighting against the war machinery, that are fighting against detentions and deportations. Find them, join them. Find them, join them. We need to remember that the struggle that we're waging here isn't about, we talk about, racism is not nothing new. What Trump has done is he's taken away the niceties. We prefer our racism in like the handsome chiseled face of Trudeau, but that doesn't make it any better. Just like it doesn't make it any better under the Kathleen Wynne provincial government. Right? Just like it doesn't make it any better under John Tory's municipal government. And so, just like it doesn't make the same thing in our universities and our workplaces. And if we're going to talk about racism, we have to remember that we are also against the beast of capitalism. And what does that mean? Right now, people are hurting. Right? We have families, we have cousins, we have parents who cannot feed themselves. We know that so many of us, our jobs are precarious. We move from contract to contract. We work part-time and we're often unemployed and we're trying to make do. And if we're trying to make do, we need change and we have no trust in the political system. And so when some people come about and promise change and we know that it's not true, many people will follow them. And so as long as we, as grassroots organizers, as people, as radicals, cannot propose an alternative vision and fight for it and join it, people will continue to support these monsters like Donald Trump. So it is our collective responsibility, not just to march, but to organize, to mourn and to organize, to fight and to organize. Thank you. One other thing. On December 10th, there's going to be a mass demonstration at an undocumented people's prison, an immigration holding center in Toronto. It's called the Toronto Immigration Holding Center, where women, children, families are jailed without charges or trial indefinitely. Look up No One Is Illegal, look up the End Immigration Detention Network, come out to those demonstrations. What Trump is promising is already happening. Stand up, fight back. Thank you.
Hello. I'm actually just going to stand up here because I'm short and I want to see all your lovely faces.
I'm going to go one more level so I can really see.
So I had a speech prepared for today, but I believe that a lot of what I said has already been said by our amazing speakers that have already gone, so I'm just going to try to touch on the other points that I had. So I feel like it's really important for anyone who's at this rally, anyone who's watching from home on any of the media coverage, who's asking themselves, why are we protesting Trump in Canada, to really understand clearly and precisely that Trump is a symptom of rising fascism that affects us here in Canada. And that is why we are gathered here today, to acknowledge that. That he is a symbol, that he has provided a voice for these people, but he is not the problem manifested as an individual. It represents a larger tide of far-right authoritarianism and extremism and fascism that we are guilty of in Canada. Canada has a huge race problem. Canada has a huge problem with trans people. I am so happy to be here today to see so many members of the trans community present. University of Toronto, the largest university of Canada, is currently tenuring several openly transphobic professors. And on Saturday morning, they will be holding a debate with an openly transphobic professor on whether or not trans people even deserve human rights. The debate is being held in the morning so that this professor will have time to make it to Ottawa to accept a Canadian Values Award. Canadian values. That's something we should talk about.
Wants to be a celebrity.
Kelly, that's why I didn't name him. Kelly Leitch is planning to run for Prime Minister if she wins the Conservative Party on a campaign of Canadian values. Well, I say that Kelly Leitch doesn't get to decide what Canadian values are. Canadian values are diversity, equity, mutual respect. Canadian values do not include xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, or fascism. We are in a very precarious point in history, and now is not the time to be a bystander. There are people walking around in full neo-Nazi regalia. There are people who are members of gangs who are showing up to our universities to intimidate students and community members. This is happening